So, welcome back to the Authentic Creative, expanding our capacity to feel good. I'm over the moon delighted because I have a really special guest, and she's special to our family. Now, we haven't met before just now, but already I'm just feeling so much synchronicity and synergy and magic. And it makes so much sense because Jesse's in our home every night with her voice. She has an incredible podcast. I highly, highly recommend it whether you have children or you don't have children, because I benefit from this podcast. My inner child benefits from this podcast.
Yep.
So we know certain episodes really, really well, and we'll get into that. But I want to introduce you properly. So, Jesse Larson is a mom of three, Reiki master, an advocate for mental health, co-creator, and the behind-the-scenes heart of 5-minute meditations for kids, with a deep love for helping families slow down and reconnect. Jesse brings each meditation to life through thoughtful editing, sound design, and intention. As a mom herself, Jesse understands how overwhelming daily life can feel, the noise, the emotions, and the constant movement. She believes that even a few quiet minutes can completely shift the energy of a home, which is why she pours so much care into creating meditations that feel calming and safe and easy for both kids and parents to use. Jesse's work ensures that every episode feels gentle, grounding, and accessible, something families can turn to again and again to rebuild emotional regulation, connection, and peace at home. So, there's a really special story I want to share right off the bat about Jesse's podcast. And if you guys have been listening to The Authentic Creative for a minute, you might have listened to our episode called Broken, which is a mini-sode that's about 15 minutes long, and it's a couple episodes prior to Jesse's episode that we're doing right now. In that episode, I share the whole story about my youngest, my 10-year-old Bodhi, breaking his arm when we were in Maui on vacation. And when we were in the ER room, I asked the medical team, the doctor who was going to be resetting his arm, if we could listen to 5-minute meditations for kids during that reset when he was on ketamine. And a very intense, very emotional moment where everyone was dysregulated and needing some calm and some familiarity. And he said, of course. And so the
Mm.
whole team, the nurses, the doctor, me, Bodhi, while he was under, all were listening to Twinkle, the Twinkle episode from the whole
Okay.
Christmas series. And that's Bodhi's favorite. He always asks for the Twinkle the Elf episode, the first one of that series. And it just calmed me so that I could be calm for him. And then the doctor and the nurses got calm, and it became this really holy moment. Time slowed down, and I felt like we were wrapped in this bubble of love. I was doing breath work, audible sighs, like, you're doing such a good job, sort of like I did when I was birthing him. And it just became this incredibly spiritual, special moment, powerful moment, important moment in my life, in Bodhi's life. And I believe we practice Buddhism. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that it was a really important moment karmically that we were brought there to inform that team, that
Yeah.
Bodhi's karma was there to kind of open them to this breath work and this meditation, and something shifted. So it was really powerful. And then, of course, every night, daily, like I said, you're in the bedroom. We listen to the Twinkle series pretty much every night, several
Yeah.
episodes. So thank you for changing our life every night.
That is such an incredible, incredible story, and I'm so grateful to hear it. As you know, as a podcaster, sometimes you're just sitting behind your mic and you don't sometimes get to know what that effect is that you're having. And the moment when you said that we felt like we were all wrapped in
Mhm.
that, that is exactly the intention that we put into those episodes every single time. So I'm so glad to hear that that's the effect that is happening out there.
I
So
know
cool.
what it's like to not know what the ripple
Mhm.
effect is. And you get a little feedback here and there and some reviews here and there, and you have an intention, like you say, and you hope to put good in the world and create
Yeah.
that. And you're doing that. So Mom to mom, podcaster to podcaster, Reiki master to Reiki master. I just want to say I see you and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. That is something that I definitely needed to hear today. So if nothing else comes from this, I got what I needed.
The work you do is so important in the world. You don't just do a podcast, you work with kids. I see on your Instagram there's some different programs or missions that you've got going on. I'm curious what that's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, first off, I'm not a one-woman show. I don't know if you know this or not, but I started 5-minute meditations for kids with one of my best friends, Camille. So,
Okay.
she helps me as well. She's actually the voice of the Twinkle episodes that you love. That's not
Oh,
actually me.
okay.
I'm so many of the other ones, but she took on that Twinkle series. I'm the behind the scenes editing and everything. And then she actually helps us reach out. She's more of our community person who helps us reach out and make connections in the community. She's who gets us on TV shows. She's who has pitched us to work with different brands and companies to try to get our mission out there. So the majority of the meditations you hear are for me, but that Twinkle series is my friend Camille. And we
We
do that
also like
together.
the Goodnight Earth one. Do you do that?
Yes, that is me. Good Night Earth
Okay,
is
we
me.
like
Yes.
that too. Yeah.
I that is one of my favorite series. So I'm so glad you love that. But yeah, together, so I'm a mom of 3, she's a mom of 4, and we created this because we were looking for something for our own kids, for our own
Mhm.
families, because we're both involved in Reiki, we're both involved in breathwork. We've done these modalities for ourselves and wanted to bring our kids into them, but sometimes they didn't feel kid friendly.
Mhm.
Or they felt too kid friendly. I don't know if you've searched for kid
Mm.
meditations and it's almost too bright of colors or too stimulating and not exactly the same thing. So we just set out to create what we wanted for ourselves. And my 10-year-old loves them. He's
Mhm.
actually voiced a couple himself.
Really?
Yes, he does. It's one of our earlier ones. It's called I Like Me. And
Okay.
he does the affirmations on those. And
Okay. We're
it
gonna
melts my
listen
heart.
tonight.
Yes, please go do. That's a really, really good one. That's a great one for mornings before school, before heading out. Just kind of a quick little boost of I like me, some positive affirmations for kids. One of my favorites.
That's
But
great. Or you could do it like on the if you're driving to
yeah.
school. Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, because sometimes we have a little anxiety in the morning, and I know there's the one that's for test anxiety we could do
Mhm.
before school. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So he eats them up. He loves them. And so that's exactly who we made them for. I have 2 older kids as well that love them and will listen whenever they need to. We're in that stage where we've put these meditations out and we're building on top of that. So, what other resources can we give to parents? What other resources can we give to moms and to kids? So, that's the next step. After we've been building this library of meditations, we're working on that next step of how we can support families and help them to be mindful and to be regulated and to be connected.
It's such a powerful mission. I'm so with you there. I love what you're doing. I'm so glad that you're not on your own with it because
Yeah.
it's nice to have somebody else on your team. It can be a hard thing to just do on your own. I
Mhm.
wanted to say before, and I didn't say it yet, is the symbol behind you. I love that you have the Reiki symbol there, one of the Reiki symbols, and some beautiful painting and your certificate. I'm curious because I've been practicing Reiki since I was a teenager. My mom found it
Mhm.
because of migraine headaches debilitating migraine headaches she had when I was a teenager. She found Reiki that really helped her in her life and the support of the women around her, the other Reiki masters. That's something I've grown up with and been by my side my whole life. I don't know who I would be without that. So I'm curious your journey with Reiki, what it means to you. It's clearly something special to you.
Yeah, that's very cool. I love that you have had it in your life for so long. It's definitely newer to me. I didn't really know what it was until a couple of years ago. And as I started following some people on TikTok and on Instagram and getting
Okay.
connected with people in real life, you start following those little threads, those little polls. And it's so interesting where life leads you when you get curious. So, this is the result of curiosity and leaning in and learning. I got my Reiki 1 and 2 back in 2023,
Hmm.
had really, really cool experiences with that. Then wanted to continue. I kind of wanted it just for myself first. And then as I noticed what it was doing for me and for my life and for my peace. I wanted to be able to facilitate to my family, and then I wanted to facilitate further. And then, especially with putting meditations out, just pouring Reiki into those as well.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. And I feel
this,
it. And that's
mhm,
what we're talking about, the surrounded by
yeah,
love. That's the Reiki. It's in there. I
yes.
feel it in the meditations.
Yes, good. I'm so glad because, like I said, you put things out there and you're like, well, fingers crossed. I hope it goes well. So, getting that feedback back is so it just pours right back into my heart. And
Hmm.
it's that cycle that just goes around and round because when I'm poured into, then I'm able to pour back out and put
Exactly.
more good out into the world. So, yeah, it's a relatively new journey. This painting actually here is a soul painting that someone else did who's a Reiki master. We were all within a breath work and she painted all of us as we were doing that. So that's a really cool
Oh
thing
my
too.
goodness.
So,
That's really special. I love that so much.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So where do you live?
I am in Utah.
You're in Utah. Okay.
Yes,
And did you grow up there?
I did. I am 4 minutes from my childhood home.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep.
And so the woman who also does the recordings with you, is she also from your area?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
close.
okay. Okay. And you've been close for a really long time.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So, okay, question for you. Doot, doot, doot. As a mom of three yourself, and
Hmm.
as someone who pours so much intention into the sound design and the energy of these meditations, what was happening? I mean, we kind of touched upon this, but maybe there's more. What was happening in your own life or in your own nervous system that made you feel called to create this? I know you said that you were looking for something for your kids that was sort of an extension of the two of you were doing, but is there anything else on the kind of heart side of things that personally was the catalyst for like, let's do this now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. So, I actually had my own podcast back
Oh,
years ago
yeah,
called the Positively You podcast that I hosted by myself, kind of a self-development, mental health, personal thing for women.
yeah.
And I had started after about 3 years just feeling a little burnt out on it, wanting kind of a change, but not knowing exactly where I wanted to go. On the flip side, my partner Camille was feeling the same way. She had a podcast as well. Hers was called
Okay.
Call Me CEO. She talks to women entrepreneurs and does business and motherhood coaching about how to have those two things go together. And we were getting together, we would co work a lot. And we sat down one day and she said, I have a crazy idea. And I was like, I love it. And within 10 minutes, we had the whole thing mapped out and it flowed so effortlessly out of the two of us.
Mm.
Because, like I said, we'd both been doing the work ourselves. We'd both been doing the things to regulate mindfulness practices, whether it be yoga, whether it be journaling, whether it be breath work or meditation. And we liked sharing it with our kids, but again, didn't feel like it was super tangible, didn't work, wasn't exactly what we wanted. And it was just effortless how she spoke the idea out. I was on board and we just came together and literally within less than a month we had it launched. So,
So that makes so much sense. I'm getting goosebumps on my arms. Have you read the book Big Magic?
I was just going to ask if that was the book you were going to say. Yes, I
Yes, you
love
knew
that
where I was
book.
going with that.
Uh-huh. I did.
Yeah, it just the universe needed a conduit for this. And there you
Yeah.
guys were ready.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. The second question, the energy shift in that ER room. I felt the energy physically change when we pressed play. So, from your perspective, Jesse, what actually shifts in the child's body when they hear something grounding? What's happening in their nervous system in those moments for people who haven't maybe done breath work before or know what Reiki is or experienced it or know the power of the podcast? What is physically happening for our child when
Mm,
we play the meditations for them?
yeah. I'm going to answer this kind of in a roundabout way. We've been around people where their energy is off, right? And they feel anxious, and suddenly we feel anxious as well. We've also been around someone whose energy is calm, and just by being near them, we start to calm down ourselves. So I think that that's part of it. And a lot of times I talk to moms about these meditations, like, I can't get my child to sit still and listen to them, or I can't get them to do this. And I say, that's why I love the car. Turn it on in the car and don't tell them they have to do anything. You're listening to it for you. And if they get something out of it, that's fantastic. And so it's that not forcing, which is a huge reason why they're only 5 minutes long. And honestly, some of them are 2 and 3 because you just need that quick thing.
Hmm.
So What exactly is shifting in their body? I don't know. It's going to be different for every kid, right? And every person listening to that. But I think it's just that small intention of that there's just a shift in the energy. And whether that's the Reiki coming through, whether that's just the intention or just the break of we're going to break whatever's coming through right now, if it's chaos, if it's fear, if it's anxiety, whatever, we're just going to cause a wedge there and shift it. It's so simple, and we wanted it to be that. We didn't want it to be this rigid thing of you have to do it this way. There's no right way to do it. And it just causes you to kind of settle and kind of calm. And I wish I knew all of the scientific things in there
Mm.
and could tell you that this is exactly biologically what's happening to your kid. But I just know that it works.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the beautiful things that I heard years ago when people would say, I don't understand this Reiki thing.
Yeah.
And I would say, well, and there's quotes that say, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it works.
Yeah.
Just what you said. It's interesting because you try something and you have a full body experience of it, then that's the only way to really know anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I do notice for Bodhi and for Phoenix, he's 12, he'll still listen to it sometimes. There is that visceral experience of they're having a little bit of that restlessness, of that anxiety about school the next day, things they're thinking about with friends, homework, tests, whatever is going on for them within the family dynamics. That's up for them, just like it is for us as adults when we have that little bit of restlessness or anxiety before sleep, maybe. So it's just humans that have this. So I feel like if you try these meditations for you and your kid, what I like is you're simultaneously regulating, you're talking about co-regulation. So I'm regulating myself, he's regulating himself, and then we're co-regulating in that moment that we're listening to the podcast. That's a beautiful thing. I'm really curious about how you come up with like the Good Night Earth, Good Night Mountains, that whole series, the Christmas series, or any of the episodes. How do you come up with the ideas? Do you sit and brainstorm? Do you text each other like in the middle of the day? Like, oh, I just had an idea for an episode. How does that all work?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of things. We do get together and do co-working days a lot, and we'll have ideas like, love that. Do we want to do a holiday series? Do we want to do this? I'll actually look at the calendar too and see what's coming up. Are there holidays coming up? A lot of times I'll get feedback from other moms who are listening. That
Mm,
was where the test anxiety one came
mm,
from. Was there was a kid who was having a lot of fears about the end of the school year and all of the testing that comes up and didn't want to go. And so we're like, okay, well, what if we do something about this? The good night ones, I'm constantly trying to figure out what to do there. And honestly, sometimes we go to chat GPT and
mm.
say, give me some ideas. What are parents searching for?
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to help. I want to help the mom who's on Google saying, I can't get my kid to sleep, or my kid
Hmm.
has anxiety, or I need help with this. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we'll go on and ask, what do the moms need? And then from there, we'll brainstorm and go from it.
That makes total sense. Yeah. I love that. It's a combination of everything. So many mothers that I work with feel stretched thin, and there's noise, and there's schedules, and there's emotions, and there's perimenopause, which you and I talked about before we started recording. There's businesses, there's caregiving. My next women's panel that you guys are going to hear on this podcast is all about entrepreneurship and motherhood. Actually, that's the one in April. We have one coming up this Friday, but the one in April is all about entrepreneurship and motherhood. So, in your experience, Jesse, how can just like 5 minutes of the podcast actually change the energy of the home? What have you seen happen in families, or what's some of the feedback that you're getting from other moms? Like anything that you've heard from them that's like, well, this was happening and now da da da. I'm curious what other people are saying.
Yeah. Well, you said it. We're dealing with so many things, right? We're so busy that when we say, hey, you need to do this thing, you need to be taking care of your kids' mental health and making sure they're regulated and that they know how to calm themselves down. And then we as moms are like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm failing because I'm trying to keep on top of everything. Like, how do I do the laundry? How do I do the meals? How do I make sure that I'm on top of all of the school homework and making sure their friends are good and blah, 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 blah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one more thing. That's why it's
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes and why you can just push play. You can push play and walk away, and you can go
Right.
take a breather if you need one,
Yeah.
or you can sit there and co regulate with your kids if you need that as well. But I love it because there's different ways you can do it. If you're just listening, on Apple or Spotify, then it's only the audio that you need. It's also available video on Spotify and on YouTube. So if your kids are more visually stimulated, they have
Interesting.
that as well.
Okay.
Throw it up on the TV or have it on your computer or your iPad or whatever if they need that visual thing. Some kids need to be able to sit and look, right? One of my kids really likes to watch the meditations, one of them only
Mm-hmm.
wants to listen.
Interesting.
But same thing, even when, if you're in a bad mood and you throw on a fun song that you like, it's just that disruption, I think, and an intentional disruption where we
Mm-hmm.
know that it's something good, something with good energy in it that's going to shift whatever is going on. And it doesn't need to be a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's edible, bite-sized.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah.
What you were saying,
Sure.
kids,
Yeah.
I think them hearing that what they're feeling,
Yeah.
someone else has felt.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when you're
Yeah. It
feeling like, hey, it
normalizes
might be
it.
hard to go to sleep, or you might be feeling this, or have you ever?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something about a kid feeling seen
Yes.
that really is valuable to them. And that's something that I try to do in those meditations is really, yes, I'm speaking to a really broad audience, but I try to have one kid in mind that I'm talking to.
That's good. Yeah, that specificity creates that
Hmm.
universality. And you're right. There is something that makes you feel seen in knowing, like, oh, this is a topic for everyone, not just me.
Yeah, I'm not alone in feeling like this,
Mm-hmm.
It helps
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So, as someone who guides women through breath work, you do breath work, we both do nervous system healing. I'm thinking a lot about this. Children don't just need regulated environments, they need regulated mothers.
Yes.
So, what do we think about shifts in the home? When a mom starts taking maybe 5 minutes to herself, just in the bathroom, in her bedroom, in the laundry room, wherever she, for a walk, not just giving that 5 minute meditation to the kids, but like you just said, put it on, step away for 5 minutes. So, what are we doing when we step away? What do you recommend, or what's worked for you, or what feedback are you getting from other moms that's worked for them?
Yeah. It's going to be different each day, right? Sometimes I need to step away and scream into a pillow, to be
Yes,
honest.
yes, love
Some days
it.
I need to step away and turn on Britney Spears and dance my heart out. And I
Totally.
think you hit the nail on the head. We were actually brainstorming about this when we were having a work meeting once about what kind of things we wanted to start pushing out and how we can support this. And we were thinking about our ideal listener and who
Hmm.
our ideal person is. And we had this moment of shift where we're like, yes, we're putting meditations out for the kids, but who we're really helping is the mom because kids need regulated moms, they need regulated parents. It's just that first step, right? If you're a mom who feels overwhelmed and you've got some kids who you want to help calm down or go to sleep at night or who are struggling in the morning, and so you're turning on some affirmations for them, that's that first step for you, kind of maybe not even realizing
Mm-hmm.
the different things that you need in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes as moms, it starts with our kids, and then we realize, oh, this is benefiting me too.
Yeah.
Or, oh, what else could I do? And then it might be the mom that says, well, what is breath work? And she leans into that. Or, okay, my kids are getting this and they're feeling better. What could I do to be feeling better? And so I hope that it's this back and forth where the kids are getting what they need, but the mom is getting what they need. And just that realization to be a little bit more intentional, a little bit more purposeful in taking care of our mental health and not putting it on the back burner.
Yeah. It's so true. I'll put it on the meditation on for him, and then I'll realize that I'm benefiting from it and I really need it too. And it does, I think, seep in terms of inspiring me to do the next calming thing in my
Yeah.
nighttime wind down routine. The other thing that I was just thinking about is when they were younger, we used to create a recording of us singing, or I have a recording of this grounding and running energy meditation that I do. And so if someone else, like a babysitter or a grandparent, was going to be watching them, then we would text them that recording.
Mm.
And so now with the 5 minute meditations for kids, we have all of this library of recordings that I know Bodhi's going to like and he's going to want to listen to. And it's now part of his wind down routine so that if I do need to have somebody else taking care of him at night, they can put that on for him. Or if I'm not around, he can put that on for himself, maybe on someone's phone,
Yeah.
you know? So I think it creates this consistency across the board. Like if we're traveling to England in the summer and our schedules are all whacked out, we can use that to give us a baseline of
Yeah.
regularity. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that it is not something that you're telling a babysitter to do or a grandparent to do where they're like, I don't know how to, if you were like, hey, you're going to lead them in a breath work or something, like
Yeah.
they're going to be like, I don't know how to do that. And they're going to totally skip it. So, yeah, the fact that it's easy to push play and have that baseline, like you said, anywhere you are with anybody, it's great.
Yeah, that's great. So, last question, the long view. So, when you imagine children growing up with these meditations in their ears, like my kids are, your kids are, when you imagine them becoming teenagers, adults, parents one day, what do you hope that they're going to feel differently about themselves?
Mm. I really like this because I have teenagers now. My oldest is 15. While I haven't been producing meditations for that long, obviously, I have been doing affirmations with them. I have been doing wind down, just even my own self, kind of talking them through a meditation at night. I would do that at bedtime sometimes if they'd have trouble.
Yeah.
And that it just kind of becomes a second nature thing to them, especially
Mm.
their inner voice and knowing that they have the power to calm themselves down or psych themselves up if they need that, right? If it's that pump up. And I had a conversation with my son a little while ago where he was really nervous about a math test. And we were just kind of talking through it. And I said, okay, well, how did it go? And he said, great. I took a couple deep breaths and I told myself some affirmations. And I was like, what?
Hmm.
Because I'll tell you, a lot of times when we were doing these affirmations in the car on the way to school, they would roll their eyes, they wouldn't want to do them, or
Yeah.
they would get super silly, like, I have the smelliest farts. That's my affirmation for the day. Like
Yes,
something
yes.
silly like kids would do. And as the mom, you sometimes get frustrated, like, oh my gosh, is this even sinking in? And so
Hmm.
to have that come back to me unprompted of just like, well, what were you doing? How was math? How did your test go? And to know that that was a tool that he leaned back on, I
Yeah,
was like, done. Thank you.
you did
So,
your
if
job.
nothing else, that it just kind of becomes this second nature almost that you can just automatically lean back on some of these practices without it feeling like they're intentionally doing something, you
I
know?
love that answer so much because, yes, as a teenager, when my mom was doing Reiki on me, I was like, what is this crap? Stop, get away. And then, of course, as I was saying, over the years, it became such an integral part of my life. So,
Yeah.
yes, at first resistance, yes, at first maybe making fun of it. And then with my kids, my mom gave me these CDs years ago that were like grounding and running energy, like using a monkey tail to ground into the core of the earth and what's colors your bubble. So I'll say, what's your intention for today? What's your color of your bubble? And this would be on the way to
Mhm.
school, color of your bubble, and then what's your grounding cord. And sometimes they, especially when they were younger, they would be into it and they would say like a tree, multicolored, sparkly, neon glow in the dark, great things that I now incorporate into my work that they came up with that every day I say, oh, maybe you have a monkey tail. So all of that creativity that they would come up with when they were younger, I still use now. And then now, when I say when we're going to school, some days they'll take it seriously and other days they'll make fun of it. I know because of my experience growing up that one day they're, without even thinking about it, and maybe even now, they're using those grounding cords and those bubbles of protection and intention. So
Yep.
that's exactly, thank you for sharing that because that's exactly my experience too.
Yeah. Because as you're listening, sometimes you're thinking, like, oh, well, they can do it. Like, my kids are just resisting it. Or, yeah, my oldest, the same one, will still make fun of me with all of my rocks and my spiritual stuff. And I'm like, okay, but you feel better when we do it. So,
Oh my
you know,
gosh. Sorry, Bodhi just texted me saying, "Are you coming?" So Jake's supposed to pick up Bodhi. Wait, wait, walking to pick up Bodhi. Okay, he's there. Okay. Whew, it's a half day.
oh, love those.
Okay, so what else that I did not yet touch upon is important to you about you as a mother, about your children, about the work that you do, the podcast, the other projects that you are involved in. I don't want to leave anything out.
I think that we have had a fantastic conversation and I've loved finally connecting with you. I honestly think my biggest thing is because we talk a lot about the kids here, but it's the moms too. If you're listening to this, you are a good mom.
Oh,
I
yes.
think we sit in the quiet moments sometimes and wonder, am I doing a good job? Am I cut out for this? Am I destroying my kids? Are they going to need years of therapy? I mean, the answer is yes, because we all do. But you're doing a good job. You are a
That's
good
right.
mom.
Yes.
And if that's all you get out of this today, just take that, please,
Mm,
and know that you are a good mom and that your kids are learning from you the things that they need
mm.
and that they will be fine in this world. There's so much going on, and we're all doing our best, and that's all that we can do. But
Yes.
if we're reaching out and we're trying to put good into ourselves and we're trying to put good back out, we're going to make mistakes as we do that. That's part of our human experience. But overall, the collective part of your experience here, I feel like is a good thing. So pat yourself on the back, give yourself a hug, give yourself a little bit of love today. We're all doing a good job. We're all doing our best.
Amen, sister, because I couldn't have said that better. I feel like that is the one of many, but one big insecurity that all moms have in common
Yeah.
is the mom guilt, like
Mm-hmm.
mom beating up on ourselves. Like you said in the beginning, it just doesn't ever, like you're trying to do, I mean, especially in this particular day and age, there's just so many expectations we have of
Yeah.
ourselves to be a good mom. Years ago, it was like if you fed your kids,
Knew where they
if
were
they
by 8
stayed
p.m.
alive, like you're okay.
Yep.
It's just a different standard now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So thank
is.
you for that validation. I think we can't get enough of that. So thank you for that. That's perfect. Guys, if you have any questions, any aha moments, anything you want to ask or share with Jesse, where should they reach you?
We are on Instagram. You can find us over there at 5 Minute Meditations for Kids. Our handle everywhere is 5 Minute Meditations for Kids. So if you search that on Google, you'll find our website. We're building a Patreon right now, which we're really excited about. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. You can leave us comments on Spotify. We always love when we get those, especially when they're from the kids directly. They're my
Oh,
favorite comments to get. So yeah, reach out, drop up into our DMs or wherever.
okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys for coming on the journey with us. Go ahead and tune into 5 Minute Meditations for Kids if you haven't already. And look forward to seeing you again soon. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good one breath at a time. Loving you. Bye for now.